Welcome back to the garage, everybody. Today I'm gonna give you guys a tour of my new old toolbox, and we're gonna go through how to remove the drawers from an old Mac toolbox, and then I'm gonna clean them up, and that might be it for this video. I'm not sure. I'd like to apologize in advance for the excessive road noise. It's a beautiful day and apparently it's rush hour in my town, USA, and I'm not going to shut the garage door because it's beautiful. So, the story behind this, I picked this up from a gentleman who is a retired railroad engineer, which is pretty cool, and this was his toolbox. The astute amongst you throughout the video may figure out what his name is. I won't tell you. But this is a Mac top box. It opens up like so. Inside you've got a removable tray here, and this has the socket organization wells in it, that's pretty nice. That sits up here. You've got a couple of compartments on the top, and you have these nice drawers that come out, but they're filthy. They're just, you can tell that the guy that used this all the time, and it has that awesome like mechanic shop stink to it. Like you can just smell all the oil and the grease and the swear words coming out of it. So what I want to do today is I want to just get these drawers out and start cleaning them up, because my tools are nice and clean and I don't want to put them in a dirty drawer. And the reality is, once I start loading tools into this, I'm never going to clean it again, which is probably what the previous owner did. It was probably nice and clean when he started, and who has time or the motivation once this thing is full of tools to empty it out and clean it up? Nobody. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring you guys in close, and I'll talk about how we're going to remove these drawers, in case anybody else has an old Mac toolbox and they've been trying to figure out how to get their drawers out. And then I'm going to spend probably a few hours just cleaning them up, and I won't bore you with that. So let me set up the camera a little differently here and we'll get started. Alright, so depending on the manufacturer of the toolbox, you may need some kind of fancy tool or like a modified hacksaw blade, with a bend in the tip and a twist over here, and it's shaped down so it fits. That's how you have to get like the old Craftsman toolboxes. There's a tab that you got to sneak this thing past. There are good videos on YouTube about how to use one of these modified hacksaw blade tools to get your drawers out, so you don't have to buy one. I think Snap-on, you can buy a tool from Snap-on that's specifically designed for removing the drawers from a Snap-on toolbox. The hacksaw hack will work for that, but on this particular toolbox, you don't need to mess around with this. You don't need to spend 15 minutes making a tool. If you have a punch, a small screwdriver, or anything with a pointy tip, you can get these out. I'm going to use these needle nose pliers because I have them handy. All you have to do is pull your drawer out, and let me zoom you in here and make sure we're focused. Okay, see this hole right here? Inside this hole it gives you access. There's a little spring tab, there's a little tab on the drawer that sticks out, and there's a tab on the slide that goes in. So they catch on each other so that you can't pull the drawer out. This hole gives you access to the tab on the drawer. So all you have to do is watch for the tab. So move your drawer in and out until you can see the tab, and then you just stick your tool in there and just kind of push it in, and kind of, it's another one of those jobs where you kind of need 3 hands. So all you're doing is compressing the spring tab in so you can get it past the tab on the slide. And it may take a little bit of finagling to get it. Let's see, did I get it? Nope. There. Okay. So there's the tab. So I'm not gonna, I want to leave the slide. I don't want to push this all the way in yet because I want the slide to support this side of the drawer until I can get the other slide removed, because I don't want this whole thing to drop down and twist the other drawer slide. So let me zoom you guys out. And now I'll do the same thing on this side. So I'm just gonna watch for the tab. There it is. Push it in. And try to finagle. Okay. So now, there you go. Drawer is out. And it's greasy. So that's that. So now I'll just push these in so I don't damage them. And all I'm gonna do now, guys, is remove the rest of the drawers using the same method. And I'm gonna just kind of degrease them. I'll scrape, I mean, there's a considerable amount of schmoo in the bottom of these drawers. And nobody likes when your drawers are full of schmoo. So we'll clean this up. And once these are clean, I'll bring you guys back and I'll show you how to reinstall the drawers into your slides. So with that, I'll see you later. All right, guys, we're back at the other workbench, and I've got the top 3 layers of drawers laid out over here, and I've got them all soaking with some simple green degreaser, not diluted. I just used it straight. Seems to work really well. And I've got just a brass scrub brush. So I'm gonna let the degreaser kind of soak these drawers for a minute, and then I'm gonna come back and scrub throughout, and then I'll wipe everything down with some shop towels. And I've got the other drawer, the bottom drawer, the deep one, and the little hand tray for the socket set on the workbench over on the other side of the garage. Those are doing the same thing, they're soaking. And the bottom of the toolbox itself was somehow the greasiest of all these things. So I really fogged the degreaser in there, so we'll get that all cleaned out too. Like I said, I'm not going to bother filming the scrubbing. Use your imagination. So once I'm all done cleaning everything up, I will bring you guys back. So I've been going through, and at this point I have all of the drawers and the tray scrubbed and everything. So now I'm working on the box itself, and I mean, it was so full of stuff. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll try to get it in the shot here. It's like full. So all I've been doing is I have a little scraper and I'm just scraping the bottom. I haven't even started scrubbing yet with the bristle brush. So I scraped all this crap out, sprayed it again, closed the box up, and then went and had lunch to kind of let it soak. So I'm going to put my gloves back on and get back at it with the brush. I just wanted to show you guys how much crap I pulled out of here. Alright, I've got it all cleaned up. And I took half a roll of shop towels and quite a bit of degreaser. I'm not sure the guy kept any tools in here. I think he just kept his grease and dust and stuff in there. But it's clean now, as clean as I'm going to get it. So you know, I scrubbed everything down with a brass brush, degreased it, wiped it dry, and then I took a shop towel and I soaked it with WD-40, and I just wiped everything down in WD-40. So the WD-40 will protect. There's a little bit of rust, so that Simple Green I think might be water-based, so you don't want to, you know, use that to degrease your tools and then not oil them. So I like WD-40 for that. It just displaces any water that was in the degreaser and puts a light film on the toolbox to keep it from rusting a little bit. And so then I put everything, once I WD-40'd it, I set them out in the tailgate of my truck out in the sun, so the sun kind of baked off the that kind of wetness left behind by the WD-40. So these are now pretty dry, and I'm pretty happy with them. I mean, you know, the paint is scratched off. It's not a new toolbox, guys. It's got a well-used patina, and I think that's cool. So while this stuff was drying, I had to run some errands, and I picked up some toolbox drawer liner. So before I put the drawers back in the toolbox, I'm going to cut this stuff to fit the drawers, and then I'll bring you back and show you guys how to put the drawers back in the toolbox. Okay, I've got all my drawers lined with the shelf liner stuff. I really like this stuff. Not so much because I'm worried about the paint in the drawer. You know, I don't want to scratch the paint. No, I like it because when you shut the drawer, your tools don't all go whoop towards the back, and then when you open the drawer and it stops, they don't all come whoop sliding around. So it's kind of sticky, so your tools kind of stay where you left them when you're opening and closing drawers. So this is like, I think I paid $7 for an 18-inch by 100-inch roll that I got at the Home with Desk Spot. And you know, I have some left over, so I may do a couple other toolboxes. I also did the top here because I had extra. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys how to put your drawers back in the box. So down here, just out of frame, right here is that little spring tab I was telling you about, and this is what we pushed in to get past the little tab on the track. So you can just slide it back in and it'll probably catch and be fine, but I'm just going to take a slotted screwdriver and pry it out just a little bit, because I want to make sure that once I get this in there, that tab is pushed out so it catches the tab on the track, so I can't pull it out without having to push it back in. So I'm going to do this on each side of every drawer. I'm just going to kind of get the screwdriver behind the tab and just rotate it a little bit and just pry it out. And so now that that's done on this one, you can slide the track out, and I'm just going to put a drop of oil on each side of the track here. And so now I'm going to kind of line this up on this side. I said I'm going to line it up on this side. And do the same over here. And then I'm just going to push. I'm going to kind of hold the... Okay, that was it. That was really easy. So I just kind of held the track in place and then used my hand to kind of slide the drawer in. So I'm not sure if you guys could hear on the camera, but those tabs on both sides snapped. So now it won't come out. So that's it. So now I'm going to rinse and repeat with the other drawers. Again, just prying that tab out on both sides. I'm going to put a little oil in the bottom track. There. Pull this out. Just a drop of oil in the top track. Get that started. And again. There's that one. And the second. Okay. Apparently I missed some grease on the sliders. You know what? These tracks are kind of gross. There's all kinds of stuff in there, so I'm just taking my brush and cleaning them out. Should have done this before. Okay. This one got a little extra oil, so I'm just going to let it run down the length of the track. And there you have it, folks. I was even able to put that liner in the tray here. It's not perfect because it's, you know, scrap pieces and weird angle cuts. And I did put the black stuff up here too, so when I set that down, it doesn't rattle. I put some underneath here also because I had it. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks pretty cool. It's got that classic, you know, vintage mechanics toolbox look to it. It's definitely got some patina. The amount of grease that I cleaned off of this thing boggles the mind. But hey, it's clear to me that Dave was a working man. And you know, when you have a work toolbox, you know, a lot of times you don't have, you don't have time to clean the toolbox itself. You know, you try to wipe your tools down before you throw them back in your drawers. But in a work environment, a lot of times you don't have time to clean the box itself. And it's clear to me that he never cleaned it. But I think it served his purpose, and now I've got it, and I plan to keep it for the foreseeable future. I don't see any reason to get rid of it. You can never have too many toolboxes. I have another box here under the bench, and I've got woodworking tools and my mechanics tools in there. So what I want to do is move all my mechanics tools out of this toolbox, the big box underneath, and put them in here. So I have my wrenches and sockets, and all those tools will be in the Mac toolbox, and that'll give me an entire drawer back in my my bottom cabinet for drill bits and other woodworking stuff that I use pretty regularly. And you know, there's probably more space here than I currently need, and that's a good thing. It's always good to have empty space in a toolbox because there's always going to be a new tool at some point. You know, you're going to run into a problem where you need a tool that you don't have, and you got to go get it, and then you need a place for it. So having extra room in the toolbox is never a bad thing. So I'm going to get cleaned up here, and I'll move my tools over from the other toolbox into here, and maybe I'll show you how I organized it. I'm pretty excited. I did not pay very much for this toolbox. I think the guy was he's just looking to downsize, and he had it for a long time. He didn't seem to have any particular emotional connection with it, so he let it go for pretty cheap. And it surprised me how heavy this toolbox is empty. I mean, I've got a Craftsman, a USA-made Craftsman, you know, little top box. It's kind of like the same thing, and it's probably a third lighter. So this probably weighs 30% more than that Craftsman toolbox. And when I look at it, when I had the thing apart, I can see why. These sides are double thickness. So it's, you know, you got a plate here, and then on the inside it has a plate, so it's boxed on both ends. Just like the cover here is boxed on the inside, you know, which makes it harder to break into. And it did come with keys. I've got the original keys for it. Let me load this sucker up with some tools. All right, folks. Here it is. Are you ready? Okay. Up top, I've got my tray with a couple of socket drivers. I got an Indestro USA, Craftsman USA. I got Flexi Thingamadoodad from SK, and that's Sherman Clove for those of you who don't know. Craftsman extendo bits, feeler gauge, 1/4-inch drive, hand jobber, battery terminal cleaner, and my metric sockets. Got some fuses over here, automotive fuses. This drawer I have a proto, like a hub puller or a gear puller, and my easy out extractors, which never are easy to use. This one's still empty. This one's also still empty. And in this drawer, I have my American Standard wrenches. I've got modern ratcheting wrenches over here, and then I have my vintage Plum pebble finish wrenches. These were manufactured somewhere between 1945 and 1948. And I have almost a complete set from 9/16 to 1 inch. And I have my Billings 1 1/16. And then over here I have assorted standard sockets that I've picked up at garage sales. This drawer is my metric wrench drawer. So I have some Craftsman metric wrenches, and then I just recently scored this metric set of Proto Challenger tools. This is a 7 through 22 millimeter, almost a complete set. There's the 8 is missing, and let's see, the 17 is an Armstrong. So, but that's all right. That's a quality American wrench as well. So those are in there, and the sockets are up here. And somebody's calling me. Oh, it's my mom. I'll be right back. Hey, Mom. Sorry about that. Dinner plans. All right, so let me wrap this up. So this is, again, metric And down here I have my assorted wrenches, adjustable wrenches and pliers and you know, that sort of thing. We got the thumb detecting nut fuckers over here, water pump pliers, and I've got some cool vintage pliers. So these are Craftsman. They've got like a nice embossed handle on those. This is a set of Fulton pliers, again with some knurling on the handle, if I can get it to focus. And some Proto pliers, needle nose, again with an embossed handle that you can't see. And then I have a nice old pair of channel lock slip joint pliers with a nice handle on those as well. And then of course your standard vice grips and a nice pair of Knipex needle nose pliers. So as you can see, I still have a lot of room left in this box, and that's fine because I do have some American or standard you know, Freedom units, wrenches and sockets down in my basement workshop that I never use down there, so I'll probably bring those up here. So that's it for the toolbox tour for now. So hopefully this was a shorter video. I haven't edited it, obviously, because I'm still filming it. I think the last video I put out was like an hour long. Sorry if that's too long. But I try to balance showing you guys the process of you know, cleaning up whatever I'm working on or restoring whatever I'm working on, and not boring you to death with the details. So you know, I would appreciate a little feedback. So if you guys have stuck it out to the end of this video and you think you know, it would have been nice to see something that I didn't show, or if you're like, for crying out loud, we don't need you to show me every step of the way, just get to the end with the reveal on the finished thing, tell me. Your comments are, all comments are read. You know, I'm not doing this just for you. I do this for me because I wanted a cool old toolbox, and I enjoy cleaning this stuff up. I've been doing this for a while before I even started on YouTube, and I'll, you know, if I decided this is the last video I'm going to make, I'm still going to do this stuff because I like to do it. But if I'm going to film it and put it out on YouTube for other people to watch, I want people to enjoy it. So leave me a comment that says, nope, I thought it was great, or nope, this is way too long. Give me some feedback. I'm open to suggestions. I would love it if you guys would subscribe. I try to put out a video like once every week or so, as time permits, obviously, with work and life and that sort of thing. But I would love it if you guys subscribed, liked, commented, subscribed, all that stuff. Thanks for sticking into the end, and we'll see you next time on This Old Tool 53.